Welcome to the Scottsdale Vibes podcast. I'm Alicia Haygood. We all know that Scottsdale thrives on our small business community. This is what we are known for. We support. I am a small business owner myself, so thank you for supporting me through the podcast and through the luxury magazine of Scottsdale City Lifestyle, which is why I'm excited to introduce you today to Amy Leclerc. She is one of the co-owners of the Sit Still Salon franchise. For anyone that has kids, probably knows of this salon. My family and I love it. Amy and her co-owners are great at learning to spoil our kids early on in age. But what I'm really excited about is to talk about how a franchise can really introduce you into this entrepreneur world, support our small businesses here in town, and grow ourselves as individuals. So we're going to take a short break. When we come back, I'll have Amy Leclerc on Zoom. Buying a home can be scary and sometimes frustrating, but all of that can go away with the right realtor. And that's where Sean Shackleton with the Shackleton Group is here for you. Sean has over 25 years experience in real estate. She's here to get you what you want and won't settle for less. She's experienced, knowledgeable, and understands this market, which these days is always changing. Take the stress out of your next home purchase by calling Sean at 480-734-7277. You can also find her at theshackletongroup.com. As a community who thrives in our small businesses, not everyone can afford to break into that small business. And there's a franchise ownership that helps entrepreneurs find their success as a small business owner. And as you know, there's many around town: yoga studios, gyms, coffee shops. My magazine, Scottsdale City Lifestyle, is a franchise. And for me, it's really helped me become a better business owner and grow with the support of the franchisees behind me, and as well as the other franchise owners in the Valley that we really rely on, which is why I'm really excited to introduce you today, as I just told you earlier, to Amy Leclerc, who is going to talk to us about Sit Still Salon and how she helped grow that into a national franchise. So Amy, thank you. I know you're super busy, and I'm so excited to meet you. We were just giggling before we started recording, so this is going to be fun. A little bit about you, I want to say. You started off as a fresh-faced 22-year-old in New York City, working almost what some would say a dream job in the advertising world, right? I love that. I worked in Atlanta, so it was like a busy, hopping place right out of college. You knew you had all of it doing. You worked around, and then talk about how that experience of working those, let's be real, 24/7 hours, because we had the ability, time, and energy, most importantly, to do it, as shape you as a business owner from what you learned from the marketing media aspect to grow into this.
Yeah, I mean, it was a long time ago when I think back. Early 20s, like you said, moved to New York City, found myself working in the very fast-paced world of advertising and marketing, and loved every darn second of it. But yeah, was really sort of thrown into the deep end when it came to working for national brands that we've all heard of, and really getting exposure to the inner workings that are how you build a brand, and how a brand's DNA is really vital to its evolution and longevity, and just found myself having incredible opportunities and experiences to work with very high caliber, high performing, high achieving people. When you think of New York, that's who's there. And, that really helped to mold me into the different directions that I found my career taking me as I got older and relocated to the West Coast, and somewhat by happenstance found myself working in the world of franchising.
Well, let's talk about franchising compared to the business world. You came out of marketing, you worked with these huge corporations, some of them were franchises at that aspect. I want to dive a little bit more into the branding, because your knowledge is so important to small business owners here. Why is branding so important, and how do you market your brand? I feel this way as a business owner. Start locally first for so many of your businesses before going national. Kind of speak to these business owners about the importance of that.
I really think we cannot emphasize enough the clear delineation between a brand and a business. And I think we all know, instinctually what makes a standout brand. And so much of that has to do with how that brand behaves within the marketplace that it's in. What is the relationship between the clients, the consumers, and that brand experience? And that really is what sets businesses apart at both the local and, national and even worldwide levels. So that's really what gets me going is when I see a brand, a business owner, a founder who is doing something special, remarkable, challenging the status quo. And so much of that really has to do with how the brand looks, presents itself, the aesthetic, just the entire brand experience. I really think that's where, um, brands really stand out is when they're able to fire on all cylinders when it comes to how their clients interact with them.
That we're done. That's the end of the interview. That's just I mean, like, I just don't understand why people, to me, it's very basic and I get that, but you
Yeah,
have to explain that sometime because it's scary. It costs money, but that's how you grow a business. No one can come to you if we don't know what's going on. So you took that
correct.
experience, your knowledge, you moved out west to Oregon, left the hustle and bustle for a very calm life in Oregon, not
Yeah.
as much sun, but you grew what then was kind of a scrappy little workout place. Some may know it. It's called Bar 3. It's now this huge national, I'm sure there's some international locations
Yeah.
with it. You helped franchise it. So how did you go from your expertise in marketing, working with these massive corporations, to learning how to build and grow a franchise?
Um, Baptism by fire.
It's
That's how
really
I
the only way to learn as a business owner.
It really is. I mean, at the time when Bar 3 was just a handful of locations in the Pacific Northwest, and I joined forces with the founders who had visions to grow through the franchise model and sort of enlisted me to spearhead that effort. And I was like, I know nothing about franchising other than that's what like McDonald's and
Yeah.
Kinko's do. Um, but as I started to learn more about franchising and really at its best, how it empowers others to take a proven blueprint, model, template, and bring it to life in their own community, that I can get behind all day long. Um, Franchising allows people to be entrepreneurs with the added bonus of being part of a community of like minded business owners who all have a shared vision in growing whatever that concept may be. And to be in the world of boutique fitness around 2010 when that category was just white hot was incredibly exciting. And yeah, I learned really quick how to build and scale a franchise business.
Let's Franchises are huge, and I don't think everyone understands when we see a business name and we see them all over. We don't know that some of them are franchises. I think a lot of people just think that corporate owns all of them and they just hire a local manager. It actually is individually owned. It is a lot of hard work. We are business owners, and a lot of time the franchise, like you said, it just gives us a blueprint to start from. Because as all owners do this, and all business owners, we learn from mistakes, like you said, and from other owners. So given that blueprint that's already taken us years in advance of how to make this happen is huge. For someone like Scottsdale that focuses so heavily on our small businesses, how does this affect our community by having these franchise owners here?
Oh, I think it's absolutely incredible. One for the opportunity to bring in Still's case, a much needed service to the families of Scottsdale. I don't have the numbers off the top of my head, but there are hundreds of thousands of families in your area who have kids who have hair that grows and needs to be cut, rinse, repeat, rinse, repeat. And Sit Still provides a really, really fun and exciting outing for the entire family. So, from that perspective, it feels really good to be bringing a service that parents desire, they want, they need. Um, and just to complement that is also to bring the opportunity for primarily women, and it is women in Scottsdale, in Sit Still's case, to become small business owners. And I love that. I love that, through Sit Still, we are able to develop and grow business owners who are learning a lot and given so much support to grow their businesses, to be successful, um, and to create a legacy for their kids.
And you're creating a legacy too by doing this.
Yeah.
How did you start Sit Still? Because you started the franchise, whereas other
Yeah.
jobs in the past was already established and you helped them grow. This is completely something new. So
Yeah.
where did Sit Still come from, and how did you create a brand new franchise for us here?
Yeah. When I was at bar three, I had two young children on my watch there, and it was through taking my son for his first haircut at what at that time was just a mom and pop small kids hair salon called Sit Still. Fell in love with the experience. I just knew I have a nose for businesses that are challenging the status quo,
Mm-hmm.
that are doing things different, kind of revolutionary, a little like punk rock, and that was Sit Still. So at the time, I just sort of filed it away that, like, gosh, that's like kind of a great business. And I wonder if she's a franchise, and just, sort of had some like little whispers. And it wasn't until 2018 that I was introduced to New, who is Sit Still's founder and had been running and managing her one salon. And she expressed to me her desire to grow. She wanted a franchise. And I mean, really, the rest is history. I ended up bringing two women with me from Bar 3 to build out the franchise model. And what that really meant was taking the individual location that New had built and grown and synthesizing that for scale, because there are things that absolutely work and are appropriate in sort of a one and done mom and pop environment. But if you want to take that business and scale it, it needs to go through sort of a disciplined approach of creating the template that then is appropriate to take across the country, which is what we have now been doing for the past 7 years.
It's crazy. Well, okay, it grew. Before I ask how many, how do you know if your business is a franchise quality business?
Yeah, it's a great question, and I don't really think there's necessarily a simple
That
answer.
makes sense. Yeah.
Um, it's important that if you have a business that you want to franchise, that you can articulate clearly a path to profitability. Um, People don't like to talk about money necessarily, but like making money is important in business. And the more you can give your franchisees the tools, the resources, and a clear path to making the business work from a revenue and profitability perspective, the better off everybody's going to be. So I think the sooner you can really clearly demonstrate that to a potential franchisee, the better. Emerging brands and startups, everybody's sort of learning as they go. But I do think that that financial component is just something you really have to lead with. And then, second to that is this a service, a business, retail concept, whatever it is, that really has demand, um, whether that's regionally or nationwide? Like, what's the appetite for what it is that you have to offer? Is another exercise I think really worth doing, because if your concept maybe is specific to regions that have hot weather, it's like, well, that's something to consider.
Yeah.
Or in our case, we're catering to kids generally under the age of 12 or 10, so we're not going to go target a market that is heavily a retirement community, just things like that. I guess just kind of unpacking all of the variables that impact your ability to be successful.
I think that goes to show you have to think things through, right? As a business owner, as a franchise owner. So when you are
Yeah.
looking for franchise owners, what is something we should ask ourselves? What are some things that we should do for ourselves before becoming a franchise owner?
Yeah. I completely can understand how it's easy to romanticize the idea of owning XYZ, of being a business owner, of, you know, being your own boss.
Yeah.
That's really exciting and attractive. What I encourage people in the sort of franchise consideration process to think about is, am I somebody who thrives in an executionary environment. And I always say, that is like the key word in my experience, what has differentiated really, really strong franchisees from franchisees that maybe struggle more with the role of being an owner, a franchise owner. And that really boils down to the relationship and the expectation franchisor to franchisee. Because at the franchisor level, our job and reason for being is to provide relevant resources and tools ongoing that our franchisees have access to then bring to life in their business. But that really takes being an executor. It's like taking the resources, executing, taking the resources, executing. So I really encourage people to think about, gosh, okay, is that something I'm familiar with? I have experience doing. Yeah, just what's my comfort level in sort of being on the receiving end of the business model, but knowing at the end of the day that my success rides on me doing all of the things. And there's no shortage of all of the things. Being a small business owner is no joke. It's a lot of hard work. And, I think if you are told otherwise, you're not being told the entire story.
How many nights a week do you wake up with an anxiety between 3:30 and 4:30 of your to-do list or an email that you need to send as it's the truth.
It's endless.
It is endless.
It is absolutely endless. And that I've been in an entrepreneurial environment and sort of career for so long that I can't really even recall the day that it was like not my problem. Because, it is my problem and it's a shared problem be amongst my business partners and myself, which is nice. But yeah, and I think that really points to who you surround yourself with. Who do you have on your team within the four walls of your business at home? What does your support system look like? Because inevitably things come up. Like it is just, as soon as it's smooth sailing, something happens.
Oh,
and
you took the words out of my mouth. I tell everyone the second you feel complacent, you're already a month behind, right? Like if everything is running smoothly and going well, that's it. Something's wrong. You better be paying attention because there's something about the curveball is headed your way, and it's the truth.
Being anticipatory, and in our world, your business is made or broken based on your staff.
Yeah.
We're a one-to-one service model. You've got to have stylists, and you are always recruiting.
I love
always.
Well, and for any franchise, you have to recruit, you have to surround yourself, and it's accountability at the end of the day. Like you were saying, Amy, it is on us as those owners. The accountability falls on us. For me, that was the biggest thing about becoming a franchise owner was the accountability aspect. I've always had people I've worked for, and it goes up the chain. Well, when you're the top of the chain, that's it. There's no one to pass it along to. Learning how to deal with that accountability and check yourself and have those check-ins with your staff, I've learned, like you said, the hard way through as a business owner. So you can get all the blueprints you want in the world. You're still going to learn by experience for some things. It just helps you avoid less growing pains, I'll say, when a franchise owner.
Yeah, exactly. And when you have a network and a community of people who have walked the path before you, lived the heartache, have also experienced the joy and such gratification and satisfaction in thriving in your business, it's just, that much more rewarding and dynamic for sure.
I love it. So tell me, Sit Still, we do, like I said, we've been here. It's an amazing company. They throw birthday parties, they do sparkles, they do nails. They have every kind of cool snack for our parents and kids, by the way. We love it. And it's, for me, my son has like this random 3 cowlicks, and I've never found anyone to do it. You actually have different stylists that are actually skilled stylists, and they're not just these cookie cutter stylists that come out. Nothing wrong with them. Everyone has their place, but
that's right.
It's different for someone like my kid who has difficult hair or the curls. That's not everyone can do this.
Yeah.
For me, that was the biggest difference that stood out for me were the quality of stylists that were brought into this. And that was the first thing of really why we kept coming back was that. So I think that kind of speaks volumes to your blueprint of what the quality you speak with of your product goes from there, kind of thing.
Oh, I love to hear it, and I'm so happy that your kiddo found a
Yeah.
place to call home for his hair. And yeah, I mean, we're absolutely committed to being able to work with hair of all types, and that is a tall order. That's a harder way to run a business. But that aligns with our core values of inclusivity, and we're really committed to that.
Well, I know that you're not here in Scottsdale right now, but I do want to
Fish.
ask you. I know, right? Actually, now's the best time. We're having beautiful weather. You're about to miss out. Um,
Okay.
what is your favorite thing about being a franchise leader in this aspect?
Um, My favorite thing about leading a franchise enterprise is um, really kind of what we talked about earlier, being in a position where we are empowering others to be in control of their own destiny, specifically in this category and with this brand, franchising to moms who are able to truly set an example of what being an entrepreneur, what being a risk taker means to their own kiddos. I know for me that has been absolutely the best part of this is my kids have really grown up watching Sit Still grow and knowing that I've had a part of that. Um, there's just not a lot of other career experiences that allow for that. And that's what gets us up in the morning is just knowing that there is a whole crop of people out there who are the next wave and the future of Sit Still. They don't know it yet. But being able to grow with people who align with our vision and are able to set an example in their communities.
Well, I love that, and it's the truth. And we've talked about it many times. Scottsdale, we love small businesses. We thrive on it. It's really what runs our community here, and we're very proud of that. I never in a million years thought I would be an entrepreneur until I moved here in Scottsdale, and I think everyone is in some form or fashion, which I love. And there's many opportunities, and franchising is one of the ways. So thank you to you and your team, for creating this and opening doors for owners and women as well. And I'm looking forward to what you're going to do next because I'm sure there's another thing on the horizon for you.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, can't sit still. The iron. Right?
I love it.
Yep.
Thank you so much, Amy. Go check out Sit Still. There's 2 locations here in the Valley, one in North Scottsdale, Biltmore area. We're going to take a quick break. When we come back, we're going to do the calendar of events. When it comes to protecting you, your family, and all your assets, you need to have someone that you can trust, and that's Jeremy Mueller of State Farm Insurance. Jeremy Mueller has lived in Scottsdale his whole life. How can anyone else know your needs more than someone who's been here and seen it all? Jeremy and his team are always ranked in the top % at State Farm. He cares, he's knowledgeable, and most importantly, he's always available. Don't believe me? Give him a call at 480-515-5223 or find him at jeremymueller.com. Lots of fun things going on. The Kierland Commons concert series is happening this month on Fridays from 6 to 8. So bring your lawn chairs, your blankets, your friends, family, leash pets, and get some free music out of it on their concert series lawn. So it'll be fun. Arizona Restaurant Week is kicking off starting May 16th through the 25th. This is a great opportunity to get to try some restaurants that you may not get into, get a little sampling of some of their best meals. There's a prefix menu for most places, so be sure to make your reservations ahead of time. And if food and free music is not your thing, maybe the Home and Garden Show happening at Westworld is your thing. This weekend, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday from 10 a.m. to 5 p.m., the largest Home and Garden Show is happening. So go ahead and get ready and get out there early because parking tends to get a little difficult. Have a wonderful week, Scottsdale. Keep vibing, and I'll see you around town.